Oh, nice and warm in here for Princess Zoe. Boy, do you want to go for a walk? It's cold outside. Akira's ready. Oh, vamos. The days fly by again. And this weekend I was mostly stuck behind the computer. But I think we made enough budget to do some stuff. Like floor heating equipment. Still not exactly sure what we're gonna do. I think eventually a heat pump would be a good idea and I want to try it. But I also want to try like an electric boiler. And they're only like 600, 700 bucks. But the the thing is, if we do a heat pump, I can just connect it directly to the floor heating without anything in between. And if we do this electric boiler, we need some way to regulate the temperature. I'll explain to you in a bit when we're back at the house why I don't want to buy a heat pump directly. Hey, Sofinho. Popien! Arr. You don't want to go to the forest? Huh? What are you looking at the dog for? ¿Qué pasa? Come on, sweetie. Zoe is waiting. So let me try and explain some of this to you before it gets too dark outside. So this is all the inputs for the floor heating, right? Now I counted on we're going to use an electric boiler. So that could have been placed around here somewhere. If we're going to have a heat pump needs to be placed outside. So first of all, this is not then the best placement for all these inputs. But eventually we could work with that. The only thing is then the placement of the heat pump outside. Zoe's ready for some dinner, I think. Almost, sweetie. I need to tell the people something before it gets dark. So I think the best and maybe even only place to put this heat pump is here by the side of the house. Because basically the other sides of the house, it's all road, so we cannot put the heat pump on that side. And basically here it's all terrace, so then the heat pump should go somewhere in the garden, but then the pipes need to cross over here. But also when we put the heat pump here, it needs to, the pipes need to go that way somehow. But I think this is the only possible solution, and I think this would also be a good place to put all our solar stuff. If we make like a nice sort of cabinet, insulated or not, I have to see, because it generates heat by itself, so it might keep itself warm. But I also rather don't have that in my house. So I think this would be a good place to put some of that stuff. This is also where I would have wanted an outside unit for the air conditioning, for instance. Maybe eventually we're still gonna have that. But yeah, I think this is the only logical place eventually to put a heat pump. And what I already wanted to do, because the rooms are not connected inside, I want to make sort of gutter like in front of the rooms, which eventually will be sort of closed off, maybe with some hatches, and put all the stuff like water supply, electricity, also stuff that needs to go to the other shed with our illegal pipe under the road. Because for instance water eventually also needs to go there, so that also needs to come somehow from over there. But we're not gonna open this up anytime soon. Eventually this will all be removed. We will have a nice tiled veranda roof, and also the floor will be tiled. And at the moment that we're going to do that, we can also like put in sort of a trench there for utilities. Now what we could do is temporarily put the heat pump here, for instance. But it will make some noise. Hopefully not a lot. So yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea. So I was thinking maybe I buy one of these electric boilers for now. And we cannot we can buy a 6 kilowatts, but it, our power supply is not gonna be able to supply that. Although if we have the solar panels on and the battery that is already waiting to be connected, we do have exactly 6 kilowatts. But also the rest of the house needs to function on that. So they also have them, for instance, in 4.5 kilowatt. And this would even be possible on the mains that we have here, although it's very near the capacity. But that would be like a sort of temporary solution. And this electric boiler we can reuse basically anywhere. And that would also mean that this electric boiler could supply for me the hot water for the shower. The only question is then, what extra components do I need? Because we need, for instance, a pump. And we need somehow to regulate the temperature, because this electric boiler is only like an on and off kind of thing. It's not like a heat pump where it has like continuous low heat output, what I would want for the floor. So maybe we need one of these like mixing valves or something. But I'm gonna get into that. If you have any smart suggestions. I think that would be the fastest, simplest solution. What I also saw people do is use one of these things, like a hot water heater on electricity. And then they also, with a pump, they just connect the output to the floor heating, and the output from the floor heating they put into the input of this boiler. We call it a boiler. It's a hot water heater. So yeah, that was also some interesting content I saw, but for one, that's sort of a real DIY solution. So you don't see professionals do that, so it's a little bit harder to, how you say, accept the correct information. It's all very DIY. And with these electric boilers I can still look up sort of professionals who install this for floor heating. Although maybe not with low temperature floor heating. But we'll see about that. So yeah, I think electric boiler for now. Although we do have money for a heat pump also. But we can save that. I saw him. I don't see him anymore. I think everybody is awake, Zoe. Wendy. Guard the fort. Do I have everything? No, I need a car key. Slowly I am turning more Portuguese. Not because I'm forgetting something, but because I'm running late. That always makes me forget stuff. I'm in a hurry. We are on our way to the accountant to talk about the association. What is very exciting to me. Yesterday I spent the whole evening preparing my list. I have like 3 sheets of questions. Let's see if I'm still this excited after the meeting. Only 5 minutes late. That's not Portuguese yet. Rain? Meu Deus. Yeah, so yesterday I had the meeting with the accountant and I was just as excited when I left. I didn't film anything though. I was mainly the rest of the evening busy with writing down a sort of report of what all of the things we discussed. So I can also eventually discuss that with the other association members. But the accountant also said that it might be best to open the association in the beginning of next year, because otherwise we need to do like administrative stuff for 2024, although 2025, although that it's still only 3 weeks. So yeah, then we need to do for that year also our administrative tasks. So we better wait like 4 weeks before we open it. So that's good. I'll get back to you on the association and what's the plan and stuff soon enough. Might take a couple of weeks though. I realize this is going to be a little bit of a talking head video. With seemingly not much action, but there is a lot happening. One other thing, guys. One of our viewers, he made drawings, like architectural drawings for the mezzanine. It really is giving me some cool ideas. There's one where, well, this one actually, where the work desk is located like sort of below the bed, but like in a sort of, yeah, really below it. So in a sort of encaving, how do you say this? But I still don't know exactly what I want. But he made 2 different options. Basically one where sort of the whole area is like a bed area. Let's see if we can get this on camera. So there's one where only this part is like elevated, and here is the like a working space. But I was talking to him and I said maybe we can try and move this a little bit that way, or maybe we can still even also like sort of flip it so that you'll be looking out of the window. But the problem is then the headroom for the bed is also going to be less because it's going to be here. So I like this idea also because there's a little bit more headroom upstairs. Although I'm not sure if that's required for me, because although I'm tall, I also lived in areas already where my bed area was in the same kind of position and I didn't really bother. And then there was another kind of option. That is this one, where there is like a whole wide, almost whole wide mezzanine area. Here's the stairs on the back. And then there's the sleeping area. And that would look sort of like this from the side view. It's not very easy to film it. Let me see. This way you can see it probably. So this is a view from above, but not of the bed, but of the ground floor. So you will have like sort of a couch area here below it. And then the desk would end up here on the side. But it can also not shift under the window because here we have the stairs. Still a little bit hard to imagine exactly what it's going to look like. What it's going to feel like when there's like a bigger structure in here. So I thought already maybe I can do something with like 2 pieces of scaffolding and see sort of how big the structure is going to be. But I think it would be really cool to have something where it's lower, where the ceiling is lower, where you can sit below, because it gives some sort of a cozy feeling, and it gives a sort of extra dimension to the room instead of keeping everything like on the ground floor level. So yeah, I'm going to discuss with Carlos, his name. Thank you, Carlos, so far. What maybe there is nothing going on. I'm just talking here to the YouTube audience, and you girls want to draw all the attention again. That also means you. So yeah, I'm gonna be consulting with Carlos maybe if we need to make some additional ideas, and maybe I'm gonna see if I can somehow get a better feeling for what it would look like in that room. Now the girls want some dinner, I think. And Zoe's going tomorrow to the vet because she still has a problem with her leg. Yes, to the vet. So not much renovation and construction today in the video, but I hope it was interesting for you to hear a bit about what's coming up the next couple of weeks, months, years. Zo, Jandeka. Kom hier. You're not hungry? Andeka. Andeka. Food. Food.